Hello, guys, and welcome to season 2 of Third Party. And my name is Samantha Harper.
And I'm Sydney Harper.
And I'm Savannah Harper. So excited to have you guys.
And we are up at literal 6 in the morning here in New York to ring in season 2. This just shows our dedication. I would say I'm tired, but happy and super excited to get the ball rolling on this new season. And thank you so much for joining us. Basically, if you want to know what we've been up to since we spoke to you guys last, well, this is your chance to know everything. We're really going to go into everything that we've been doing, unpack some things, and yeah, let's get into it. So, I feel like we're in kind of still the beginning phases of moving here, to be honest. I mean, I don't feel like a New Yorker. I mean, apparently you're never a native until you're here for 10 years. And yeah, so we have a long way to go. But how do you guys feel about being here so far?
I kind of feel like it's last year when we first moved here, it was like our freshman year when you're getting settled, meeting people, like you make some friends drift away like every other freshman year in college or high school. And I'd say we're in sophomore year of our New York like transition.
I don't even think we're in sophomore year.
Well, I'm gonna say we're in sophomore year just because it's been like a year post grad. So I feel a little more settled, but I think we've been off the grid for a little bit, clearly, since we haven't been recording the podcast. And that was an interesting period of life with the weather. It was cold, but definitely more adjusted now.
Yeah, I always say that, like, basically, I mean, I went to school in Philly, which is not the same thing at all as New York, but I guess it's a city on the East Coast, and people do not leave their houses or apartments or have a social life until May. Like, I'd be miserable at school from, like, after winter break when you come back until May. So I feel like it was kind of similar to that where you just wonder where everyone went. I still feel like we're in second semester, well, the last semester of freshman year because we moved here in the literal fall, basically. So I feel like it hasn't been that long, but it's felt kind of long.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting because it hasn't been that long since moving here and also since graduation, but just seeing all of the new, like the new class of 2023 who's graduated and stuff, it's crazy to say that it's been a year since we graduated. So I'm really excited for this summer and also just everything else that's to come just to feel more established in New York City and also just to feel like I have my life together too because post grad isn't that easy.
Yeah, it's been some up and downs. I agree with that, but I'm hoping the next season or New York era, things all come together and things just mesh.
Right. I feel like I don't know. It just hasn't been like honestly, it's like your morning college. Like I remember when I read this article like my sophomore year of college and someone was talking about how they were morning college and like they missed it and they missed like seeing people they knew on the street and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, well this just doesn't seem fun at this point. Then why graduate? So, but I will say it was just a very accurate article. Like I definitely do feel just I don't know. Like you kind of miss like the sense of kind of having a community that you had in college. And honestly, classes are an excuse to like talk to people, which you also don't have. So how have you guys been navigating on your day to day?
Yeah, I honestly really do agree with that. Speaking of like finding meaning, not being in school is just such an interesting like analysis and process to go through by yourself because I feel like I never was fulfilled like, oh, you know how some people are fulfilled academically, like they get an A and that like brings them joy. I feel like for me, building relationships and being around people is what funnels me and fuels me on a daily basis. And being in the midst of like working from home, working a job that might not be as collaborative or as fun or motivating as you would like. It just kind of becomes an interesting cycle. So when we took a break from the podcast, I really was going through a period of stress. Like, what am I doing with my life? What do I want to do next? How can I build more meaningful connections, relationships? Just because we aren't from here. If you're new to season two, we're from Ohio, so it's not like the whole world has been here and that we have a bunch of mutuals in Cleveland. I mean, in New York, which we have more here than I expected, but still. So that's definitely been an interesting transition. I feel like I just need to get out and do more. Like, that's been on my summer bucket list. Like, even doing city pickle. There's an obsession here, I think, in New York with pickleball. So just trying to be more involved in different things. Like, winter kind of gave me an excuse to hide away, but now I'm trying to step into the summer full force, being out and about and trying to just make my way.
And I also feel like too, like Sydney said, in terms of having connections that fuel you, it's really interesting because like graduating for college, you really do have to go out and build your own relationships without any form of structure. Like obviously you can do that in the office depending on what you do if you want to do that. I don't know. I feel like I hear mixed reviews about making friends at work. But just like being out there, I feel like you definitely have to put yourself out here in different ways. So after my first year, I feel like we've done that, but could definitely make a lot of improvements, honestly. So I'm excited just to, like join random things like you were saying,
Right.
like pickleball or whatever, because who knows, we're gonna meet different best friends.
Like, I came into the not even assumption, but when I was always envisioning New York in my head, I kind of saw it as, oh, you're at a coffee shop that you go to every day. Like, people are gonna come talk to
Oh
No,
you. You're in
yeah.
the gym. People are gonna come chat you up. Nope. You mind your business.
no, but also I'm not gonna lie. I just think our generation isn't very social. Like, just I guess overall, like I think maybe like I guess even a generation back, people be more inclined to like say hi to people they run into more often. And I don't even think I think some people are like, well, that's an East Coast thing. We don't say hi to each other. I feel like not really. Like people did say hi to each other because you had an answering machine. Like that's the last time
Yeah, you
you're
never know
gonna
when you're gonna
see
see these
some
people.
people. It's because of that phone, personally.
I
Exactly.
truthfully haven't even FaceTime people in so long.
I hate FaceTime. Like I
Me
said
too,
last
but
seasons, the same. I don't FaceTime. It's just it's interesting.
Yeah, I just think that I don't know. I feel like people are a lot more closed off. Kids our age are a lot more closed off, but to the point where it's more than I expected. I feel like I'll meet people in person, and I'll. It's like it takes like 5 months to establish plans, which is wild to me. Like I feel like in college there was more of an incentive for people to hop on it and like really establish some plans, get the ball rolling, move forward and establish more connections and relationships. How do you guys
I
feel?
think I honestly just need to like, take more risks because part
Oh,
of me thinks like, oh, there's so many people that you could potentially text or, but oh, they potentially have plans. Like you might think in your head, and then you all end up just sitting around. So I think at this point it's just like a communication gap within a bunch of different people. I mean, I'm not saying all people, but at this point, what do you have to lose to send a text? And if that's not reciprocated, move on. That's kind of how I'm thinking. Because I think there's so many people who want relationships. It just takes someone to put in the effort.
yeah, I'm half and half. Like, I'll spam text, not spam text, but I'll like take a Tuesday or like a Wednesday or something, and I'll be like, hey, we should like grab dinner or do something. Like, and I'll just like choose like 3 people during that week to do that with. And I don't know. There's just, I feel like there's, once people have their actual 9 to 5s and their actual jobs and stuff, I don't know. There's not less of an incentive, but I mean, there's a difference between getting between someone's like bag with work versus getting between some classes. That's what I have kind of realized.
yeah, no, I get what you're saying, Samantha. I feel like now with people who are working, like some people may be busier than others, some people's schedules may be more relaxed. I feel like it can be somewhat difficult to schedule things with different people, even with some of my college friends too. But yeah, I feel like that's why I'm trying to put myself out there in different communities or with different people. So it's like, because I feel like you can't rely on one set group in the way that people did in college. Like in terms of, oh, like, well, I kind of disagree.
Yeah, some people
I'm sorry.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people can.
No, it just
Yeah. But I feel like it is kind of just about like trial and error, seeing like who
right.
sticks, who doesn't stick. And I feel like you should take the same approach that we took in college. I think that the three of us did do a good job putting ourselves out there in college, and we have been continuing to do that throughout post grad. So just even taking risks and, like Samantha said, texting people on Tuesday, the same rules apply. Don't be afraid to go out your way and text people. And if they don't want to hang out, like, we're grown now. You aren't going to see them on campus. New York is a big city. I'm sure where most people live, like, even if the city isn't big, like, you're not going to run into people the same way. So feel free to ask people to hang out. And if they don't want to, I'm like, on to the next. You
Exactly.
weren't meant to be in
It
my
doesn't
life.
keep me pressed anymore. But
Right.
also, I don't know about you all, but I kind of feel like this is such a weird analogy to make. For some reason, I feel like we're in the phase of life where it's like, oh, some people are like married. Some people care about, like, it just shows you what people like really care about at this
Yeah.
point. I'm like, sometimes it seems like with some people, dragging them out the house is like
It's like a chore.
you have to fight
Right,
tooth
that's
and nail.
what I've been.
Yeah, to kind of like get people outside.
Right.
So it's just interesting now being like post grad and seeing like what people care about and what people actually want to spend their time doing, which is good for
Yeah.
people to like develop their own identities and not feel forced like go to the tailgate or go to a pregame. But it can be difficult because I like being outside.
Right, but I also think that that's kind of what I meant when I said, like, I feel like kids our age are a lot more, not isolated, but are a lot more okay with keeping to themselves than I've seen, like, even for, like, people that are older than me. Like, I'll say, like, 3-ish years older than me, if that makes any sense. Like, there'll be people where I already know they just don't want to go out. Like, that's not their thing. Not even going out, but I'll say, like, going out to, like, do things during the day. I'm like, oh, okay, that's not, like, their thing. They don't really want to do that stuff. But also, yeah, there's, like, a big, I won't say marriage trend, because a bunch of people get married when they're super young, like, every single, or engaged, like, super young, every single, round when people leave college or are going to grad school or just entering the world as well. But I don't know. It just kind of freaks me out a little bit because I'm just like, what is going on? Like, I'm going to a wedding in literally June, so in like a couple of weeks. And like, I like, honestly, it is kind of crazy. Like, I never thought I would be in this position even last year, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, first of all, I just wanted to point out that Cleveland is not the South as many people might think. Like, everyone our age, I mean, everyone who is 23 is not married or doesn't have 4 children.
Right.
There's
But
a lot of them in New York.
Right, but I still feel like we have seen a couple people from high school like posting their engagements, all of that. I've seen somebody who's been married and had a baby and everything.
Right.
Which, congratulations
Several to
to
Yeah,
them.
I've seen a few.
This is coming from no judgment whatsoever, but as someone who, I feel like I just have so much more life to explore, let alone relationships and whatnot. So it's a little crazy, and I feel like we are stepping into the territory at 23. Like, obviously our relationships are going to change based on people getting married, what they're doing, and what they prioritize, because when someone's married or when they have kids, I don't think they're going to be interested in the same stuff.
Right.
But I mean, we'll see.
Good for them, the fact that they found their person, because dating in the trench is in the trenches right now. Like, I feel like not being in college, we're like forced to interact with people, which might seem like a great pool. Didn't work out for me clearly, but yeah, maybe they'll pick up in the summer.
I know.
Yesterday, I'm trying to get on Raya, everyone. So if you want to give me a referral, please do. But yesterday I went on the app, and about like 6 people got off the wait list. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? So I hit like refer. But I'm like, how is everyone getting off this wait list? But I feel like it's not going to really change my life at all.
I mean, first, I've never, okay. Well, obviously, this is my own personal experience, so I'm projecting. First of all, it took me 2 years, I was a sophomore and then I got my thing was lifted when I had 1 month of senior year left. So I was just like, okay. And then it just has done nothing for my life, which obviously everyone's experience is different and stuff, but it literally just eats away at the money in my pocket.
Yeah, I hate the
Oh, you have to
subscription.
pay
You have
for
to pay
Raya?
You have
each
to pay for
month.
that.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
it's
It,
not free.
no,
Well,
it's more than Apple Music,
I won't be
and
Yeah,
getting it.
it
right.
literally just eats. And then I was like reading something about how like the business model of a gym is that they take like the people that don't show up to the gym are the ones that are sustaining the gym.
Yeah,
That's right for me.
yeah, probably. And you only get like 3 people a
Because it
day,
just
3 options.
eats
Oh
away.
wow,
Like
Yeah.
crazy.
you're just no, you don't get 3 options. You
Oh,
get like they made more rounds.
oh, I was
But at
about
the
to
same
say.
time, it just that's I'm just gonna say, yeah. It just
Yeah, it might not even be worth the
Yeah,
subscription.
because I'm not paying for that.
I'm throwing money at a fire.
But for those of you who are listening, let us know which dating apps are your favorite, if
None.
they've worked for you.
Yeah, I would
if
love
you
to hear some
guys
stories.
actually have had relationships through a dating apps, because I feel like we know some people who have, like, it's been successful.
I know, I know a
But
few.
Do
They're, like married now.
let us know, and also let us know if you're like staying single this summer or looking to entertain people. I don't
What
know.
are you guys looking to do?
Just like in the summer as a whole.
No, are you looking to stay single this summer?
See, you could ask me that, and I don't really know. It would have to be an amazing person for me to be like dating them this summer, but I kind of like stability, so I'm not opposed to like being in a relationship. Like obviously everyone says like hot girl summer. I think summer's a lot better when
Emotionally fulfilled
yeah,
summer.
that's what I'm thinking.
It's so interesting because I feel like I'm going to regurgitate like what people have on Hinge, like whether they're seeking a relationship or not. Like I always side eye people who are like, "Oh, open to relationships but unsure." And I'm like, what?
What does that
But then
mean?
honestly, I feel like that's kind of me though too. Like, I like Sydney said, there would have to be a special person for me to actually date, because obviously I have standards. But
Agreed.
yeah, I agree. I like stability, and I'm not looking for a short-term relationship ever. That's just because that's the type of person. Actually,
You
I
know
don't
what?
I might
Give me
take
some
that
new
back.
friends,
But,
and it'll work for a month.
Yeah, we'll see. But I'm open to a relationship 100%. But I also won't be mad if I don't have a serious relationship this summer whatsoever.
What about you, Samantha?
Honestly, at this point, I'm just life is lifing. I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I agree.
Exactly.
I really don't know. And my thing is, like, I just look at people as not investments, not to dehumanize anybody, but you're still investing your time. And to me, like, everything here is just so, like, expensive, too. Like, if you're going on that, if you're paying for that Uber, then you better be worth your time. Because it's just so much work. Like I've just heard so many like Hinge horror stories from my one friend, well actually a couple of friends recently, so that's made me want to delete the whole app. But I don't know. I agree. I just think it's just whatever happens happens, but I mean, I don't know. I'll have a little vacation romance.
No, for real. We're about to embark on a trip, I guess you'd say. And I feel like we're going to like 3 hotspot cities in a weird way. Like people kind of hype them up. Like,
I feel like people hype it up.
yeah,
Definitely.
people hype these places up. So I'm kind of excited to see and go out and see what like the going out scene is like and what like the guys are like in a different city, like in a more southern place. Because it's like Charleston, Charlotte, and then Key Island is just like vacation town. So I don't know what you're gonna do there, but
Yeah,
I just want to see like what the difference is.
probably nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it might be even worse over there.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be much
worse.
But
worse.
if you're from any of those states, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I don't know. I just want to travel more in general, so I need to like build a more worldly consensus as to what's out there. So, since moving here, and we're on the topic of summer, what's your summer bucket list? Do you have one? I don't.
I don't even have a summer bucket list, but the first thing that comes to my mind about the summer is being gone. Like when I think of a fun summer, I'm
It's
thinking about
not here.
traveling. Like I think it's like I can make the most of the summer in New York City for
No.
sure. Like going to some rooftops, doing some day things. I love like a day drinking vibe, but I'm thinking weekends away.
I know. I need to get out of here.
I agree. I think I want to do different trips to like new people and whatnot. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Because walking around New York, one thing is I do love it being warm here because it's nice, but it does kind of smell bad sometimes when it's hot
I'm
outside.
not about it all the time.
Yeah. But anyway, so I want to like go different places, and I also just feel like in the summer you kind of do want the water or a pool or something. So, and I don't have an Equinox membership. I keep seeing people on the Equinox pool
I heard it was
and
dirty.
all that,
I don't know if I'd swim the Equinox pool.
but I don't have a membership there. So, yeah, I'm also I feel like when it comes to like bucket list as a whole, it's more so I want to step away from a season like feeling different, feeling refreshed, like I don't know. So, we'll see what that entails for me this summer.
Yeah. Fun fact, I hate summer. I don't think like every time I'm going through it is in the summer. I have never had like a really good like, oh my gosh, this has been a great summer. I've never said that.
I feel like even if I'm going through it though, I can go through it in warm weather versus
Same.
going through it in the winter.
True.
Same.
But I also, I don't know. I don't like New York during the summer. I like New York during the fall and spring. Like I like it during transitional
I bet
seasons
fall
more.
lasts about 3 weeks, and
Yeah, but I
then
still like
spring lasts about two.
Yeah, but I still like it better during like more transitional season. But no, I also like being cold, which no one, everyone's like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. I like wearing jackets. I like having jackets to wear. I like my outfits more in the summer. I mean, more in the winter. I don't know. But I also agree. I would love to just like travel around. If any brands want to send me to Europe, hit me up. But I just I think my perfect summer would also be like just not being here. I would just feel so fabulous and like cool if I was like, oh, I'm jet lagged. Like I'm like, do you know how bad I want to be jet lagged and go somewhere else? Um, but yeah, yeah,
What's really killing my summer vibe is the fact that it's not a summer vacation. Like we've all come to that consensus. I've worked in the summer in the past, most summers in the past, but I think it's a very big commitment now. Like it's not the same. Like we need a summer break, like at
yeah,
least 2 weeks.
And I think that's the thing about like post grad too. It's so weird like having a job at not obviously you could have a job and start somewhere else, quit whatever you want to do, but we've always just had like internships or whatever, so just had a 3 month commitment to somebody and having to see people I couldn't even imagine staying in one place for 6 years.
I
Like
was thinking the
that's
same
wild.
thing. Like, and it's not as exciting as I feel like K through 12 when you have all this drama, like things going on with these people and like people funneling in and out. Maybe it's just because I haven't experienced it yet, but I can't imagine being with this team and seeing them again in 6 months from now. Like
yeah.
that, I don't know if that sounds appealing.
I just think it's crazy. And also, obviously, having to work in the summer, like, you see the people on the subway in their little, like, button downs, ties. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it's rough.
but
Yeah.
it's life.
I'm not gonna lie. Well, just like having classes in the summer, sometimes I kind of preferred it. Like,
I would.
obviously, like, no one feels like doing school or midterms or all those things, like, during school, like, during the summer periods, and no one really feels like it. But at least you had more of a traditional reward system. Oh, basically, at my college, disclaimer, you had school all year round, which was it was a time like it just made you perpetually tired, but at least you still had people around you that you were familiar with, so you didn't feel like you were as like thrown to the wolves. But obviously you still had your internships and things like that too, but it was a structure. Would I prefer to have a break sometimes? But I feel like it's such a whole new process, like just being free and like working amongst the people and not
Right.
going to a class because you're not thinking about being business casual when you're going to class.
And I think, too, like, based on the size of the class. Like if you're in a big class, or I mean, if you're in a smaller class versus a big class, you kind of get the chance to identify your personality, have people get to know you. I don't know, have random chit chat with the people in your classroom. But in some offices, I've heard people say like people really don't care about you.
I
So
know.
No.
Sometimes in
I
classes,
think
I'm
it's really
like,
sad.
don't you kind of like being like a star in a
Yeah,
class, which sounds so
exactly.
dramatic, but like coming in, having like the friends, having like a social scene in there, and then leaving, like that was great. But now in the office, I don't really do all
Well,
that.
also, I don't need to be a star in the
But
office.
same.
I can be a background character all day as long as I'm getting paid.
Right, because sometimes I don't know.
A star leads to
I've
more
heard
work.
people who have done, or just people who have been embarrassed and not like
Right.
just feel like
Right.
Yes.
a dark cloud that follows you
That
in
too.
your
Don't want
career.
don't want to do anything too
Or just people
crazy.
will say too much and like expose themselves too much at work. I don't know how to explain it. Like
I know.
I think I don't know, letting people in on your personality. I'll only do it unless it's like serving a purpose at work. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that just because I'll do it to be friendly and like like be part of the community and whatnot. But I'm not gonna do too much because I've seen some people where they'll get themselves in trouble.
It's so interesting because my work team, for context, if anyone listens, for anyone listening, is like kind of small and it's all like first year analysts. And so it's interesting because people really want to spill their business. And I feel like unless people listen to this podcast, they might think I'm just like a ghost, just like there.
That's fine.
But people are telling in depth details about the relationships, about just like their friend group drama, their roommate drama. I'm
Getting
like,
cheated on.
yeah, I'm like, this is so interesting. Like, you guys really bonded. Like, they really made it so that we're kind of like in a classroom.
cult.
And even my manager gets involved in the drama. I'm like, this is such an interesting dynamic. I better have some crazy stories to tell about that, but you have to catch me off the podcast for some of them. Just like,
NDA is
yeah, just to
NDA.
keep people's privacy. But some people are crazy, so I
Yeah.
recommend just doing you, but keeping it casual and professional.
Right. And I'm not saying that you can't have friends at work, because I feel like you should make friends at work, become close with people and whatnot. But I definitely feel like some people don't understand professionalism when talking to, like, I'm not going to be spilling my dating stories with my manager.
Same. And the people go hard at like the work happy hours and stuff. I'm like, this is not the vibe. This is not the time for me.
That's
But
too much. Like, I don't know. I feel like, well, not that like it was so funny. I was watching this video and it was like our offices like the new cults and like all this stuff and like going on and on about how they want you to like never leave and like really like be like not overly involved but like have a lot of meetings, things like that. And I don't know. I feel like that's like truth serum.
I
At
know.
the office happy hours, I literally would just have one glass of wine and go home. Like I could never. I'm not going hard around anybody.
Also, for those of you who are applying to jobs, or who just graduated from college, listen to what Samantha's saying, because when a job says you're like a family, or like we will do everything together in the
You're not.
evenings or
You're not
whatever, I feel like it is kind of a red flag sometimes, because
We aren't family. I got my own family.
right.
Right.
And like I feel like places like that, my job included, they have no problem working you overtime.
Right.
Yeah,
With
for
no
real.
pay.
Yeah, that too.
Right.
So
Family means you'll be on the train at 12.
So please be wary.
apply your own risk.
But yeah. So just to wrap up, are there any, let's like set a goal for ourselves and then this is visual evidence of that goal. So do you have anything that you'd like to complete by the end of the summer, do for yourself, an aspiration? This is very Oprah of me, but it's on camera. So anything you want to say?
So one of my goals for this summer is not to be I was gonna say the healthiest version of myself, and I don't mean that in terms of fitness and eating right. Yeah. So I feel like so many people say that, but I mean just being at peace mentally and just having like a clear mind. And I don't know, like obviously life is gonna happen, but just knowing like just not being overly stressed, whether it's about my career, like relationships, all of that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think not to not be creative, but when it comes to my goal for like the next couple months, it's more along the lines of just feeling fulfilled. And I think that's going to start with some discipline. So for me, I think I really want to lean into a morning routine because I bought so many like manifestation journals and like your daily planner. And when I say they've probably been open like once a week and it only goes until the end of 2023. So maybe I need to get on and actually get my money's worth and provide myself some structure. So I agree with like ending the summer feeling like the happiest, healthiest version of you, how whatever that looks like. I know something's gonna get thrown in the way, but it'll be for the best. Like it'll all work out.
Um, I would say I, well, superficially, I want abs. I don't know why. I just, um, so I guess it's like a health thing ish. I guess it's more of like a concentrated workout thing. Um, what else? Also, because I keep putting it off, not putting it off, it's an expensive endeavor. I would like to start swimwear and actually like making the tech packs for it and like getting down and actually creating it. I don't feel like making that PDF currently, but I need to stop procrastinating and actually start working. Um, and that's it. And also, yeah, feel fulfilled. Be in a mentally like good spot because after summer the year is over. And
I know winter comes quick.
yeah, but yeah, thank you so much for listening, guys. This was a very relaxed episode. I just love episodes where it's relaxed, we're talking, you get to just see our personalities in the raw. And what better way to do that than 6 a.m.? It's now 7. So, yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
But looking forward to releasing the content for season 2. I think the podcast, well, speaking of like finding meaning, has brought a lot of meaning to my life and enjoyment. So I'm excited to connect with you all again and bring in some new people and new listeners. So always feel free to reach out, DM, leave comments. We'll be posting every episode on YouTube, so now you can see our
Thank God.
faces if you want
Right.
to every single time. And I'm just excited. We have some fun things along the way. And if there's anything particular that you want to hear from us, any guests you would love to see, let us know. Always open some ideas.
Yes. And if you like this episode and just in general, feel free to leave us a review. Um, and like Sydney said, we're going to be on video this season. So I know that our names could somewhat be confusing because we all have S names, but we'll be sitting in the same spot. So you'll be able to tell us apart.
I would love to know which of our listeners actually know who's who
They
and can
probably
recognize
don't.
each voice without watching a video. So
If
if
you're one
you,
of
Yeah.
those people, let us
yeah,
know.
let us know. I kind of would love to hear.
Yeah. And also, I want to say that we appreciate every single one of you. I personally, obviously, like, I know, like, big audiences, big deal, whatever. But I love a small and wonderful audience. And I really appreciate everyone that took time out of their day to listen. Even when people come up to me and say, "Oh, I listened to the podcast," that makes me, like, really, really happy. So, yeah. Just wanted to shout everyone out that took time out of their day to listen. And yeah, see you season 2.